Small steps, big dreams. I never imagined I'd be where I am today. After 18 years, Alibaba has grown to its current scale, not because I'm particularly smart. I really don't think I am. But I've had the privilege of working with a lot of incredibly smart people. Most smart people tend to look for quick, easy paths to success. But I believe that's true. Lasting success isn't something you achieve quickly. Everything we do, we prepare for 10 years ahead. I know I'm not the smartest, so if we want to succeed, we have to aim to win a decade from now. If we want to be successful, we have to work with smart people, and we absolutely must make a lot of mistakes and never, ever give up. Learning from mistakes. Many people make a mistake, face a problem, and then they give up. We never gave up. We learned from our mistakes. And I think, when it comes to judging whether a person will be successful or not, you can tell by their reaction to failure. If they think, my failure happened because of others, that person has no chance. But those who fail and think, it was my fault, I didn't do it properly, I should change this or change that, those are the people with opportunities. I've learned so much from people who failed, from those who made mistakes, and especially from my own mistakes. This is my attitude towards life. When I fail, I say, see, I knew I'd fail. And when I succeed, I say, well, I never thought I could be successful. This mindset keeps me positive and optimistic. Starting small to dream big. When I started my journey, no one believed that a simple English teacher from Hangzhou could build a global company. But I always had a big dream. And while that dream was huge, I knew I had to start small. That's how Alibaba was born, not in a fancy office, not with a large team, but in a small apartment with 18 friends who shared the same vision. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but the size of our beginning didn't matter. What truly counted was our unwavering belief that something big could come from small, consistent steps. I always say that it's important to dream big, because whether you dream big or small, it costs the same. So what do you have to lose? But remember, big dreams don't materialize overnight. I failed university entrance exams multiple times, was rejected from over 30 jobs, including at KFCS. I failed repeatedly. But that's what gave me the courage to start small. Many young people ask me, Jack, how can I succeed? How can I start something big? And I always respond, start with what you have. If you don't start now, when? If it's not you, who will do it? What people often don't understand is that the size of your beginning doesn't define the size of your success. I had no money, no connections, but I had a dream. When you have a dream, even without resources, you never feel poor. And that's what gave me strength in those early years. I remember the skeptical looks, the friends who said I was crazy, that it was impossible to compete with giants like eBay. But I believed in something bigger. I believed that by helping small businesses grow, we could change the world, and that belief pushed me forward, even when the path seemed impossible. Dreaming big is easy, but having the patience to start small is the real challenge. Sometimes we think that to achieve something great, we need a big beginning. But no, great achievements begin with small steps. What you need is the courage to take that first step, even if it's uncertain. Alibaba is a giant today, but it began as a small idea in a small space. I believe your dream can be the same. It might start with a simple conversation or an idea jotted down on a piece of paper. But if you believe in it and work hard, that idea can grow and change the world. And why is that important? Because it's not just about you. When you start small, you're not just creating something for yourself. You're creating something that can impact others, and that's what makes it all worthwhile. When you help others, when you transform the lives of the people around you, that's when your dream truly takes on meaning. So, have you taken that first step? Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now. What are you waiting for? Obstacles are opportunities in disguise. Dreaming big and taking that first step is just the beginning. The journey is never straightforward. As you move forward, obstacles will inevitably appear. For me, every challenge is a disguised opportunity. Throughout my early years, I faced rejection after rejection, failed university exams, more than 30 job rejections, but I never let those failures define me. Instead, they became my greatest teachers. Every no I received, every door that closed, I saw as a valuable lesson, preparing me for the next step. Transforming obstacles into opportunities isn't about luck, but about having the right mindset. When Alibaba faced its first big crisis, many thought it was the end. But instead of giving up, I saw it as a chance to innovate, to grow. Every rejection I faced taught me something that I used to build what Alibaba is today. The question was never about avoiding problems, but learning how to overcome them. That's how we built something capable of competing globally, even when no one believed it was possible. I always say, if you want to catch your goal, no matter what rabbit you're chasing, don't try to change the rabbit, change yourself. This means that often the key to turning an obstacle into an opportunity is adjusting our own perspective and attitude. Instead of focusing on what we can't control, we should work on improving ourselves, developing new skills, and most importantly, staying focused on our end goal. The biggest mistake many make is thinking that problems signal the end of the road. In reality, they are just the beginning of a new phase of growth. When Alibaba was facing financial difficulties, I knew it wasn't the time to give up. It was the time to adjust our strategy and use adversity as fuel for innovation. Every obstacle forced us to think creatively, to find solutions where others saw only problems. And that, more than anything else, led us to success. Obstacles will never go away. They are part of every entrepreneur's life. The question you need to ask isn't how do I avoid problems, but how can I use this to grow? The most valuable opportunities often come disguised as challenges. So, what will you do with the obstacles you're facing today? Will you let them block your path or use them as stepping stones to your next success? Never stop learning. Once you learn to turn challenges into opportunities. There's one more key to unlocking long-term success. Never stop learning. In a world that's constantly changing, staying still means falling behind. Throughout my life, I've understood that learning doesn't stop after school. In fact, that's when it truly begins. As technology evolves, as industries shift, the ability to learn new things is your greatest asset. If you stop learning, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you stop winning. When I was building Alibaba, I didn't know anything about technology. I wasn't an engineer. I wasn't a software developer. But I learned. I studied the market. I learned from the people around me. And I surrounded myself with those who knew more than I did. And that's the secret. Don't be afraid to admit what you don't know, and always be open to learning from others. This mindset of continuous learning has been one of the most important factors in my success, and it will be in yours too. The future belongs to those who are willing to adapt and evolve. I often say that 50% of today's jobs will disappear in the next 20 years. But we will create another 50 to 60% of jobs that we can't even imagine today. The question is, are you ready to learn and develop the skills that machines cannot replace? Creativity, emotional intelligence, and the ability to work with people, these are things that will always be valuable, but you must continuously sharpen these skills through learning. People often ask me, Jack, how did you manage to stay ahead when everything was changing so fast? My answer is simple. I never stopped being a student. Every day there's something new to learn, whether it's from a book, a conversation, or an experience. The world is a classroom, and if you're not constantly learning, you're missing out on the greatest resource there is: knowledge. And let me tell you, it's not just about learning technical skills. It's about learning how to connect with people, how to lead with empathy, and how to inspire those around you. So, the next time you think you've mastered something, ask yourself, what can I learn next? The moment you stop asking that question is the moment you stop growing. And in today's world, growth is the only way to stay relevant. The more you learn, the more you can achieve. The more you achieve, the more you can help others. And isn't that the ultimate goal, to make a difference through what you know and share? Resilience over perfection, the key to surviving and thriving in business, isn't about getting everything right all the time. It's about resilience. I learned this the hard way in the early years of Alibaba. Nothing went as planned. We faced setback after setback, from technical challenges to fierce competition. But I quickly realized that perfection wasn't the goal, progress was. And to make progress, you have to learn to bounce back from failures stronger than before. Many entrepreneurs fall into the trap of perfectionism. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect product, the perfect opportunity. But here's the truth: perfection doesn't exist. If you spend your life chasing it, you'll miss out on the opportunities right in front of you. In my experience, it's better to fail early and learn from it than to wait for the perfect plan that may never come. Every failure carries a lesson, and that lesson makes you stronger for the next challenge. I often joke that I wasn't supposed to be a CEO. In fact, one of my venture capitalists once told me to step down because I didn't know how to be one. He said, "Jack, you should give your CEO job to someone else because you don't know how to be a CEO." But I didn't listen. Later, I realized I was a good CEO because I was a teacher. Being a teacher taught me how to lead with patience, how to adapt, and how to learn from failure without letting it defeat me. That's what resilience is: learning to take a hit and still get back up stronger and smarter. The world doesn't need more perfectionists. It needs more resilient people who are willing to keep going even when things don't go according to plan. Because believe me, they won't. But that's okay. As long as you're learning from each setback and moving forward, you're on the right track. The key is to focus on growth, not perfection. And that's how you rise, not just despite your failures, but because of them. So, next time you fall, don't see it as a failure. See it as a chance to build resilience. Ask yourself, what did I learn? How can I do better next time? If you can answer those questions, you're already on your way to success. Remember, it's not about never falling. It's about always getting back up. Leading with vision and heart. Being a leader isn't just about having a title or making decisions. It's about having a vision that others can believe in and a heart that inspires them to follow. I learned early on that people don't follow you because you're the smartest or the strongest. They follow you because they trust you. Bellow. You, because they believe in the vision you've set, and more importantly, they believe in how much you care. When I started Alibaba, I wasn't the most qualified person in the room. But I had a clear vision, and I had the passion to pursue it. I wasn't leading with authority. I was leading with belief, and that belief inspired my team to push through even the toughest challenges. As a leader, your job isn't just to tell people what to do, it's to show them why it matters. It's to make them feel that they're part of code, something bigger than themselves. Leadership is about more than strategy and execution. It's about connecting with people on a deeper level, understanding their hopes and fears, and helping them see their own potential. I always say that a good leader inspires people to follow, but a great leader inspires people to lead themselves. At Alibaba, I wasn't just building a company. I was building leaders. I wanted my team to grow alongside me, to take ownership of their roles, and to feel empowered to make decisions. One of the most important lessons I've learned about leadership is that it's not about controlling others. it's about serving them. When you lead with empathy, when you truly care about the people you're leading, they'll go the extra mile for you, not because they have to, but because they want to. That's the power of leading with heart. It creates a culture of trust and loyalty where people aren't just working for a paycheck, they're working for a purpose. So, as you move forward on your journey, ask yourself, how can I lead with vision? How can I inspire with heart? The best leaders are the ones who make others feel seen, heard, and valued. And when you lead in this way, you're not just building a successful company. You're building a community of people who are ready to take on the world with you. Innovation born from necessity, we move into the future. One thing is certain, innovation will be the key to staying relevant and competitive. But here's the thing about innovation. It doesn't come from comfort. It comes from necessity. When Alibaba was still in its early days, we didn't have the resources that larger companies had. We had to be creative to survive. But that's when the best ideas come, when you're pushed to think differently, to find solutions where others see only problems. When people ask me how to be more innovative, I tell them, look at your problems. Every great innovation is born from a challenge, from a need that's not being met. At Alibaba, we had to innovate because there was no other choice. We didn't have access to big funds or a well-established market, but that forced us to come up with solutions that no one else had thought of. When you don't have a lot of options, creativity becomes your greatest resource. Innovation is not about having the latest technology or the biggest budget. It's about having the right mindset. It's about being open to new ideas and willing to take risks to bring those ideas to life. When you're poor, if you have a dream, you never feel poor. This is the mentality that drove us forward. We didn't let a lack of resources stop us from dreaming big and innovating our way to success. You can do the same. Whatever challenges you're facing, look at them as opportunities to innovate, to create something new. And remember, innovation doesn't have to be big to be impactful. Sometimes the smallest changes can make the biggest difference. Focus on solving real problems, and the innovation will follow. So, what's the problem you need to solve? What's the creative solution that could change everything for you? Building leaders, not just followers. Innovation may drive a company forward, but it's the people that truly make it succeed. As a leader, one of the most important lessons I've learned is that you can't do it alone. You need a strong team around you, and not just followers, but leaders. When I started Alibaba, I didn't want to be the only one with the vision. I wanted to create a team that could grow alongside me, people who were capable of making their own decisions and taking ownership of their roles. Many entrepreneurs think they need to have all the answers, but the truth is, the most successful leaders are the ones who build other leaders. When you help your team grow, you're not just building a company. You're building a community of people who are committed to the same vision. You're giving them the tools and the confidence to lead, to innovate, and to take your business to the next level. At Alibaba, I always encouraged my team to think for themselves. I wanted them to challenge me, to bring new ideas, to feel empowered to take risks. This is the kind of leadership that drives success. You don't want people who just follow orders. You want people who believe in the mission and who are willing to lead in their own way. When you lead with vision and inspire with heart, that's when you truly build something that lasts. Leadership isn't about control, it's about trust. And when you trust your team, they will go above and beyond for you. They will become the driving force behind your success. So, ask yourself, how can you help the people around you grow? How can you build a team that leads together with you? The power of long-term vision and patience. One of the biggest mistakes people make is focusing only on short-term gains. Success, especially lasting success, requires long-term vision and patience. When I started Alibaba, I knew we were building something that would take time. We weren't trying to make quick money. We were trying to create something that would have a lasting impact. And that kind of success doesn't happen overnight. It takes years of planning, hard work, and staying committed to the vision. Patience is one of the most underrated qualities in an entrepreneur. Everyone wants fast results, but the truth is, the best things in life take time. If you're constantly looking for shortcuts, you'll never reach your full potential. Success is a marathon, not a sprint. You have to be willing to invest in the long term, even when it feels like you're not making progress in the short term. That's where most people give up. They don't have the patience to see it through. But planning for the long term isn't just about patience. It's also about strategy. You have to know where you're going and have a roadmap to get there. When we started Alibaba, we had a 10-year plan. We knew it would take time to build the platform, gain trust, and grow our user base. But because we had a long-term vision, we were able to stay focused even when things got tough. If you want to achieve big dreams, you need to be patient and strategic. Focus on building something that lasts, not just something that brings you quick success. What's your long-term vision, and are you willing to stick with it even when the results aren't immediate? Embrace failure as your teacher. There's one thing I've learned in my journey. It's that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process. I failed more times than I can count. I failed university exams. Multiple times, I was rejected from over 30 jobs, and even Alibaba faced failure in its early years. But each of those failures taught me something valuable. Without those lessons, I wouldn't be where I am today. Failure is not the end. It's just the beginning of a new opportunity. When you fail, don't be afraid to face it head-on. Too many people are ashamed of their failures, but I believe we should embrace them. Each failure brings a lesson that you wouldn't have learned otherwise. It's like a teacher that shows you the mistakes so you can avoid them next time. The real mistake is not failing. It's not learning from the failure. I often say, when you fail, it's not that you've lost. It's that you've learned how to win next time. That's the power of failure. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you humility. And it gives you the strength to keep going. If you're afraid to fail, you'll never take the risks necessary to succeed. Don't be afraid to fall. Be afraid of staying down. Failure is your greatest teacher. Use it to your advantage. What's the biggest failure you faced, and what did you learn from it? If you can answer that, you're already on your way to success. Passion fuels purpose. One of the greatest keys to success is finding something you love and turning that into your life's work. Too many people chase after money or fame, but I've always believed that true success comes when you align your passion with your purpose. For me, my passion has always been about helping others, about empowering small businesses and entrepreneurs. That's what drives me every day. When I started Alibaba, I didn't do it for the money. I did it because I was passionate about creating opportunities for others. I wanted to build a platform that could help people succeed, and because I was passionate about that mission, the success followed naturally. When you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. You're willing to put in the extra hours to face the challenges because it's something you truly believe in. Passion is what fuels purpose. It's what keeps you going when things get tough. When you have a purpose that aligns with your passion, you're unstoppable. So many people ask me, Jack, how can I find success? And I always tell them, find what you're passionate about. Once you discover that, the rest will fall into place. Success follows passion. What's your passion? How can you turn it into your purpose? When you find the answer to that, you've found the key to lasting success. People first. Profits follow. One of the greatest lessons I've learned in building Alibaba is that profits alone aren't enough to sustain a business. If you focus only on making money, you'll lose sight of what really matters, people. At Alibaba, our mission has always been to serve our customers, our employees, and our partners. When you put people first, profits will follow. But if you put profits first, you'll lose the trust and loyalty that are the true foundation of success. Business isn't just about transactions, it's about relationships. It's about building trust, understanding the needs of your customers, and creating value for them. When you focus on helping others succeed, that's when you create a business that lasts. People are at the heart of every successful company. It's the people who buy your product, the people who work for you, the people who believe in your vision. At Alibaba, we've always focused on how we can make life better for small businesses. That's what has driven our growth. We didn't just chase profits, we chased impact. We wanted to create a platform that would empower others, that would give small businesses the tools they needed to succeed in the digital age. And that's why Alibaba has thrived, not because we focused on money, but because we focused on people. So, if you're building a business, ask yourself, how are you serving people? How are you making a difference in their lives? When you answer that question, you'll find that success naturally follows. Embracing the digital era in today's world. If you're not embracing digital transformation, you're falling behind. The digital era is not the future, it's the present. And for those who are ready to dream big, this is your moment. Technology has opened doors that we never imagined possible. It has leveled the playing field, allowing even the smallest businesses to compete globally. But it also requires adaptability, innovation, and a mindset that's open to change. At Alibaba, we saw the power of the internet early on. While others doubted, we believed in the potential of technology to revolutionize the way people do business. Today, that vision has become a reality. But here's the thing, the digital world is constantly evolving. You have to be willing to learn, to adapt, and to take risks if you want to stay ahead. The opportunities are endless, but only if you're willing to embrace the changes that come with them. In this new digital age, the question is, how are you using technology to dream big? Are you leveraging the tools and platforms available to you? The internet is the great equalizer, and those who are brave enough to use it to their advantage will be the ones who shape the future. The power of an open mind, a world that's changing faster than ever before. One of the most important qualities an entrepreneur can have is an open mind. You have to be willing to learn, to listen, and to adapt. At Alibaba, we've had to constantly evolve to keep up with the rapid pace of change. From new technologies to shifting customer needs, adaptability is the key to staying relevant in today's market. Being open-minded means being willing to try new things, even when you're not sure if they'll work. It means listening to feedback from your team, your customers, and your partners. It's about being flexible enough to pivot when things aren't going as planned. The world is full of opportunities, but you have to be open to seeing them. As an entrepreneur, don't get stuck in your ways. Be curious, be willing to experiment, and learn from your mistakes. The more adaptable you are, the more successful you'll be in the long run. So, ask yourself, how open are you to change? What new ideas are you willing to explore? Thinking globally, acting locally, one of the greatest lessons I've learned in building Alibaba is that the world is full of opportunities, okay? And technology has made it possible for even the smallest businesses to think globally. When I started Alibaba, we were focused on helping small businesses in China. But I quickly realized that our mission could go beyond China. We could help small businesses all over the world to succeed. In today's market, you have to think globally. The internet has made it easier than ever to reach customers from different parts of the world. But while you're thinking globally, it's also important to act locally. Understanding the needs and culture of the local markets you're entering is key to building trust and growing your business. At Alibaba, we've always focused on creating solutions that work both globally and locally. We wanted to build a platform that could help small businesses from different parts of the world succeed. The world is your market, but you have to approach it with a mindset that's both global and local. So, how are you making the world your market? Leave a legacy for the next generation. One of the most important questions you can ask yourself is, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? For me, success is not just about making money or achieving personal goals. It's about building something that benefits the next generation. When I started Alibaba, I wasn't thinking about how much money we could make. I was thinking about how we could create something that would last, something that would make the world a better place for the next generation. If your dreams don't go beyond yourself, they're too small. The most impactful entrepreneurs are the ones who think about how they can make a difference in the world, how they can create something that benefits others even after they're gone. At Alibaba, we've always focused on creating value for the next generation. We wanted to build a platform that would empower small businesses, not just today, but for years to come. So, ask yourself, what kind of impact do you want to make? What will you leave behind for the next generation? When you think about your legacy, your dreams take on a whole new meaning. The power of listening, one of the greatest lessons I've learned is that the most successful leaders are the ones who listen more than they speak. As a young entrepreneur, I thought I needed to have all the answers. But over time, I realized that the best ideas often come from the people around you, your team, your customers, and even your competitors. Listening is one of the most powerful tools you have as a leader. When you listen, you learn, and when you learn, you grow. At Alibaba, we made it a priority to listen to the needs of our customers and our employees. We wanted to create a culture where everyone felt heard, where everyone's ideas were valued. This not only helped us innovate, but it also built a sense of trust and loyalty within the company. Listening isn't just about hearing what people are saying, it's about understanding their needs, their concerns, and their ideas. It's about being open to new perspectives and willing to change your approach when necessary. So, as you move forward on your journey, ask yourself, how well are you listening to the people around you? What can you learn from them? Success is a journey, not a destination. As I look back on my journey, I've come to realize that success isn't a destination. It's not something you achieve once and then you're done. Success is in the journey. It's in the challenges you face, the lessons you learn, and the growth you experience along the way. Too many people are focused on the end goal, on reaching some milestone of success. But in doing so, they miss out on the most important part, the journey itself. At Alibaba, we faced countless challenges. But each of those challenges has made us stronger, more resilient, and more innovative. The failures, the setbacks, the obstacles, they are all part of the journey, and that's where the real success lies. It's in the growth, the learning, and the perseverance. So, as you pursue your own dreams, don't just focus on the end result. Appreciate the journey. Every step you take, every challenge you face, is bringing you closer to your goal. Success isn't about reaching the destination. It's about who you become along the way. Dare to dream what no one believes. The first thing you need to understand about success is that it starts with a dream so big, so bold that no one else may believe in it but you. When I first talked about my vision for Alibaba, people thought I was crazy. How could a small, unknown company from China compete with giants like eBay? But I believed in something that no one else saw at the time. I saw the potential of the internet to empower small businesses. And I dared to dream of a world where even the smallest companies could compete on a global scale. Dreaming what others don't believe requires courage. You will face skepticism, doubt, and even ridicule. But here's the thing. The greatest ideas in history were once considered impossible. Think about every major innovation, the telephone, the airplane, the internet. All of them started as ideas that seemed too far-fetched, too unrealistic. But someone had the vision and, more importantly, the courage to pursue it. That's the difference between those who change the world and those who simply follow the path laid out for them. One of the most important lessons I've learned is that if you don't dream big, you'll never achieve big things. If not now, when? If not me, who? This question drove me forward, even when others didn't believe in my vision. I knew that if I didn't take the chance, if I didn't dare to dream beyond what seemed possible, I would never know what I was capable of achieving. And that's the essence of entrepreneurship. It's about seeing what others can't and being willing to risk everything to make it real. But dreaming alone is not enough. You have to be willing to put in the work, to face the challenges, and to keep pushing forward even when it feels like the world is against you. There were countless times when I doubted myself, when I wondered if maybe everyone else was right. But deep down, I knew that if I gave up on my dream, I would regret it for the rest of my life. That's what keeps you going. The belief that your vision is worth fighting for, even when no one else believes in it. So, what's your bold vision? What's the dream that everyone else says is impossible? Don't let their doubts stop you. Dare to dream what no one believes, because those are the dreams that change the world. It's not about proving others wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you have the courage to follow your own path, no matter how audacious it may seem. The courage to take bold actions dreaming big is essential. But there's something even more crucial that separates those who only dream from those who actually change the world: the courage to take bold actions. When I started Alibaba, it wasn't enough to just have a vision. I had to make decisions that no one else was willing to make. I had to take risks that others thought were foolish. That's what it means to change the game, not waiting for the perfect moment, but creating the moment by taking decisive, bold actions. Courage in business isn't just about taking risks. It's about ...